Hi,
Hi, I'm Jen,
and I'm Judy.
and today we're going to talk to you about the AI revolution in language education, specifically about using AI as your sidekick.
Yeah, we're going to talk to you about some tools that you can use to help you be a better teacher. So, what is an AI sidekick? What are we talking about, Jen?
Well, there's some things that AI can really help you out with as a teacher.
Let's hear it.
First of all, content creation. It's magical for this. You can just ask it to give you things and more and more and more and infinite amounts of it, really, just more all the time. And with that, you can make sure that these are all personalized. So you can take a text and tweak it for specific learners, their English language levels, or for the context you're in, and really make it so that your content is specialized for you. It's good at giving immediate feedback. Students can get into a chatbot and get immediate feedback on their writing, their speaking.
So they don't have to wait for me to get their papers back.
A little slow about marking papers sometimes. They can do context-based translation, which is really interesting. All of our students like to do translation. Google Translate's great, but context-based translation, it's using all of the ideas and what they're looking at and translating the ideas. So the translations end up to have a really different feeling to them than Google Translate.
I bet that's really useful for our students as well.
And it's great at summarizing things. For learners, they could take a big amount of text and pare it down to some essential ideas. Or for teachers, when we're doing some research or looking into ideas, we can reduce the content overload.
Nice. So let's drill down into some of those different tools or different ways that we can use these tools in practice. So we're talking about creating tools or creating content using these tools. We're talking about lesson plans. Chatbots are really great at giving you good ideas for a lesson, activities, and different exercises that you can do to meet your learning objectives. They can create texts, examples for days. It's a perfect example machine. You can even ask it to create dialogues for you if you were looking for some speaking practice, prompts for writing or speaking practice, questions based on those texts in all different kinds of multiple choice, true, false, fill in the gap, all of these different question types. And as Jen was saying, feedback. It can give pretty good feedback. It can also do great for differentiation. So if I've got some students who need a little bit more of a challenge, I can give them a little slightly harder text and take that same text and make it a little bit easier for my students who maybe need a little bit more scaffolding. It's also great for simulations. So if you're doing a course where you would want the students to, for example, practice going to the bank, it's great for providing you with that material. And then conversations. One of the things we love about the new ChatGPT, and we're going to have a video about this as well, is that you can actually talk with it and you can practice your spoken language that way with the app. So be on the lookout for that video coming soon.
So let's take a look at some of the tools. We're just going to look at a few here. Across the top, we've got ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Google's Gemini, and Anthropic's Claude. And those are the big, large language machine learning models.
And hopefully that's still their name while you're watching this, because they're changing all the time.
Every few months, we get new ones, new names, and new logos. Down below that, we've got some other tools that you may have seen or heard about: Tweet, Diffit, Audio, Curipod, Magic School, Almanac. I could go on. There are literally thousands of them now.
Thousands. Yeah. So
with those thousands, how do I choose the one that's right for me? It's a decision you have to make.
Absolutely. So we're going to take each of these and we're going to look at some different features of generative AI and kind of break them down between your large language models, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT, and compare it with some of these specialized AI tools. So to start with type, like we've been saying, the Claude and Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT are all large language models. And if you're not sure what that is, go check out our video on what is generative AI, where we go into a little bit more detail on that. These specialized AI tools, though, are apps built on top of, mostly right now, OpenAI's large language models. So they're getting the same thing that ChatGPT is using, that same large language model database, but they're just looking at a very small slice of it. They're just going through a little door in the ecosphere of OpenAI's large language model. And some of these large language models are also opening up for other tools to be using them. So you might see Claude, Anthropic's Claude, for example, being used in other tools coming soon as well.
The customizability is where these are very, very different. These
Yes.
large language models are highly customizable. You can get in and put in any kind of prompting and questioning and details. You can put in images. You can put in all kinds of instructions, and really you can play with the output and change everything about it to get exactly what you want.
Yes.
These specialized AI tools, what you see is what you get. They're like a wrapper built around the AI large language models. So you have just one special way of accessing it, and they have set up a framework where when you go into a specific tool, how you access it and what it produces for you is very prescribed.
Yes. So with that comes the flexibility. These large language models are very flexible. They're responsive. They're reiterative. You can go back and forth with them for as long as you have credits, depending on if you're using a free or paid model. And you can keep refining and refining and refining until you get exactly what you want. Whereas these specialized tools, like Jen was saying, you're going in and you're working within a framework. So you've got a built-in prompt with a fixed output. You ask for a text, you get a text. And you're not really able to go and manipulate that text with the chatbot, with the large language model anymore. You, of course, can change it yourself.
The prompting, what's required with the prompting is very different.
Yes.
With these large language models, you have to know how to prompt. You have to have some experience, build up your experience. You know, you can read around, watch videos about different techniques for setting up prompts. They can be big, long, complicated things, short, little things, everything in between. But you do have to put a lot of work into the skill of prompting. Whereas with these specialized tools, no skills required. You go in, you toggle some switches, you put in some keywords, choose some words off a list, and it does for you what it says it's going to do for you.
Which is one of the benefits of these tools, and why we're including them here is because they're quite easy to use. You don't really need a lot of
There's not a
specialized
learning curve.
knowledge. Yeah. Organization, here's another one where these specialized tools really come out on top. If you're really spending a lot of time with these large language models, then you're probably going to end up with, oh my gosh, what does your chat GPT inbox look
Thousands of chats and organized based on when I last looked at them. So it's not searchable currently.
Yeah, it's getting better. These companies understand that organization is a problem, but for right now, they're kind of a mess. Whereas these specialized tools, you get a compartmentalized product because you just get the one product. That's all you're in there to look at, and it's nicely organized for you.
The interface is very different between them as well.
Exactly.
With these large language models, it's very unstructured and chat-based. You're just having a chat with it, and there aren't any rules about how you treat it or how it treats you or what it's going to give you. It's the sky's the limit. You just do what you like. That can be frightening, or it can be really cool depending on how you look at it.
Exactly.
Whereas with these specialized tools, it's very structured. You go in, flip some buttons, choose some things off a menu, and it's very, very structured.
And finally, usage limits. If you're using the free version of Claude, Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT, there's no real usage limit. There are some limits to how many chats or how many prompts you can do at a time.
Per
hour or per day, or each one of them's a little bit different. But overall, you can just keep using them forever until they start making you pay. But for the specialized AI tools, most of them are now going to a freemium or a paid subscription service. They do have free versions, most of the ones that we've listed here, but they're very low limits. You maybe only have a few credits per month that you can use. So that's something to consider if you're wanting to be a really heavy user of some of these tools.
Yeah. So that's a little bit on how to pick which one you want to use,
and some of the things that they can do. For some of these tools, we do have some special videos about how to use them directly at our jenandjudy.com. So go and check those out.
jenandjudy.com
jenandjudy.com
for more AI tools.